Our next speaker is Dr. Sunita Nikum. It's a privilege to introduce Dr. Sunita, a distinguished homeopath, academician, and expert in psychiatry, who has been an integral part of the Dr. M.L. Dhavle Memorial Homeopathic Institute, Palghar, since 2004. She is a professor and head of Department of Psychiatry at MLD MHI. Please join me in welcoming her as she enlightens us on yet another challenging topic.
And keep your mouth closed.
अरे तिला असं बोलायचं होतं की तोंडाजवळ ठेव माहिती चुकलं तिथे
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
We are towards almost the end of the today's proceedings, but still very important topics still are remaining because I think you all are going to be in a practice in some time, and some of the practitioners are here and some are going to be into practice. But every time when we see the children cases, we come to a lot of challenges. So in today's presentation, I will be presenting about my experiences with the certain objectives, what the behavioral disorders are. Since morning we have been experiencing the different types of disorders, how the disorders are present, how the homeopath should treat the disorders. Every stalwart over here has a different approaches. So this is one of the approach I will be presenting in front of you, and what challenges we have and how the holistic management is been done in the cases of behavioral disorder. So first, before going to understand the actual disorder per se, let us understand how much behavioral disorders are prevalent in our community, in our society. So if you see the number of children who are having a behavioral disorder, which is ranging from 2% to 35%. Of course, this percentage will differ from the country to the society to the economical background. So it will never remain a constant. It will be changing with the continent as well. So these are the few types of a disorder which are very common. And this disorder children will come to you or come to your consultation very oftenly. So this could be conduct disorder, hyperactivity disorder, peer relationship, and the problems which are come up because of the emotional issues in the children. So again, let us understand what are the some facts when the children are coming to you or adolescents are coming to you with a certain problem. If you see, most of the disorder, they will be common in the school children. Almost whatever the prevalences we have understood till now, almost the 10% of the school children will come up with the problem. 80% of the adolescent, out of those children, right from the 6 or 3 years to the 16, 17 years of children, 80% will suffer of this problem. The problem which they have come up with in the childhood, the 65% is likely to get carried even in the later part of their adulthood. As in the previous session, Dr. Garge has said, that ODD if not treated will get converted into conduct disorder. It is like that. If it is some behavioral disorder, if not identified, not understood, then probably certain conditions will be continued even in the adulthood. Out of that, the ratio is very significant. Almost 4 male will suffer because of the behavioral disorder, where the girl ratio will be only 1. The percentage of the behavioral issues is more common in the urban children than the rural children. Ratio 4:1. Could be. That is the reason why it will carry forward in adulthood as well. So let us understand, I'm presenting the 3 cases of a different dimension over here. So let us understand this girl. She is a girl of a 7 year studying in the first standard, and she is one of the twin. She is very restless. She cannot sit at one place. She is all the time jumping here and there. At the same time, she is not following the commands of the parents, the teacher, and many of the time the school is sending the chits of a complaint to parents. And at the same time, school was mentioning about a learning difficulties this particular girl has. She will not pay attention to the studies. She will have mistakes in her studies. She will commit errors in writing, copying the things. So along with the behavior, some academic issues also have been reported by the school teacher. The child is being monitored or looked after by the grandparents. Since the school cheat used to come every time, the parent used to fight between them ki who is responsible for her problem, whether the grandparents or whether they or whether the child himself. And the child used to feel bad about wherever the school complaints reaches to the parents. So, what challenge this case has? Now she is a 7-year-old girl. How we will understand her behavior? And why is this behavior? Is it a behavior normal? Because we are looking after a 7 years old. Many times the grandparent used to say, कि यार ये तो बच्चे खेलते ही रहते हैं, so why to bother about it? This is a normal. And eventually, if she grows by the age, probably the behavior will be reduced. Then if this behavior is not normal, then what would be the clinical diagnosis of this case? So when we are trying to understand, we face a lot many difficulties. Then none other our way of case taking is going to help us with the knowledge, skill and attitude which Hahnemann has already spoken in aphorisms. Those probably will give you idea how to explore the problem, how to reach to the core dynamics of the problem, and how the management also should be occurred. So let us visit what we have done in this case and how we got the solution for this problem. So when we explore the case, we come to know her father is working out of the city, and he used to come only once in a week at the home. And whenever he used to return home, he used to bring gifts to the children. Mother, who was though at home, but she was working online, so she was not available for most of the time to the children. Children were kept at the creche, and whenever they used to come home, they used to play like this. So whenever they are in the creche, they were like a most obedient children, but as soon as they come home, their all hyperactivity used to come. And specifically this girl, because this girl was facing difficulty at the academic level also and the behavioral level also. So how this problem is going to diagnose? So we diagnose this case as a attention ADHD with the oppositional defiant disorder. I'm not going to talk about much in detail because already Dr. Praveen Garge has talked about this. But how we are going to solve this issue? So we have understood the family dynamics, we have understood the parental availability to the children or a child, and how we are going to sort this problem. So, and what we have diagnosed, this is a complaint which is a functional in nature, probably will not be so deeper in the pathology, and it's a very overview of this behavior. So, whenever you are talking of a responses or a behavior, they could be healthy responses as well. Every time it need not to be a pathological one. It could be a reactive disorder also if it is coming up because of certain psychodynamic and the stresses. It could be come up because of a developmental disorders as well, where the development is getting hampered because of certain problem. It could be psychoneurotic disorders. It could be personality disorder, because whatever the cases we have seen, if you evaluate, may fall into this category as well. Psychotic disorder, what I think Vaishali ma'am was talking about this case. Psychophysiological disorder, again the same case. Brain syndromes and mental retardation. So whenever you are analyzing any behavior or you are just evaluating any behavior, you have to screen the behavior through this parameter, whether this is healthy, reactive, developmental disorder or pathological disorder because of certain brain syndrome or a mental retardation and the other disorders. So how we have sorted out this problem? What we come to know, since the grandparents were there in the family, grandparents have their own ideas of rearing up the children. They were used to say कि अरे gift मत लाना, ये मत करना, but actually the father was compensating his unavailability to the parents. It was a love of a father who was making him to bring the gift to the children. But the grandparents were of different opinion कि ये बच्चों को इतना जल्दी इतना गिफ्ट नहीं देना चाहिए, बिगड़ जाएंगे और ये आपके सामने नतीजा है. So there used to be a constant fights between the even the grandparents and the parents. And these are really the children, they have taken advantage of this. The children to some extent are manipulating in nature, and you have to understand ki how they are behaving, and they are making use of their sentiments and behavior to gain whatever they want actually in their this thing. So the advice was given to the parents that there has to have a communication between the grandparents and parents, how a child rearing practices to be done. There should be one rule, because so that everyone follow the same discipline in the house and the children can be trained quality wise. And even the parents, though, instead of getting the gifts and other thing every time, how the parent can give a quality time to the children so that the bond between two will develop quality. So this case, these advices was given, and still we have prepared the totality and a repertorization. So this was the totality. Silica was given to this girl. 30 we started with the 30, and eventually we increased the potency to 201 packet weekly. So what we learn from this? Because once you are learning from one experiences, you will definitely going to apply the same learning to the other cases. So what we learn? How to explore through the case taking, how the importance of knowing the family dynamics and the family situation will help you in understanding the children or a child's issue, how the family dynamics impact the child. Because even I think Ajit sir's presentation, he has come up with a psychodynamic connection. But if you understand the family dynamic equally in depth, then this connection can be made easily. And of course, the knowledge of child psychology and the child psychiatry helped us in making the correlation. So whenever the children, they come up with the behavioral issues, these are the basic expressions they will come up with. They will come up with like a withdrawal from the friends, poor academic performance, excessive worry, physical restlessness, changes in the eating and the sleeping pattern, weight loss which cannot be explained, and the self-harming behavior. So these are the common behavioral expression. The first, any family member will come up with and like to consult for these issues. So this is the second case I will be presenting, which was taken during the COVID time. Of course, the case was taken on telephone. So she is a girl she come up with the fear that father will get a corona infection and will be taken away. And because of this fear, she was unable to concentrate on her studies. She easily gets startled, and at the same time she has come up with the involuntary urination. Now this is a girl of 9 years, and by that time already the bowel and bladder control was achieved, and in between this time she has never had any episode, and suddenly with this fear whatever the thought has come up, and she started wetting her bed, which was very unusual. There was no urgency, dysuria, there was no incontinence. So that means there was nothing, any symptom or a pathology was established, but still this girl was having this complaint. Even there was no positive history of either of a parent having this complaint in their childhood. Many times, whatever the behavioral issue the parents also have, they are carried forward in a next generation as well. So we again understand with the help of our earlier knowledge how the family situation is there where the child is living. So what we understood, the father is a M Pharma, he owns 3 medical shops, and during COVID time he was working quite for a longer time, and he was not available to the child. Even the mother was pharma, she was a professor in pharmacy college, and she was helping the husband during the COVID time. Child was 2 minutes. 15 minutes over? Okay, so the child was looked after by the grandparents, and but during the time these grandparents were away from the family, the child was feeling lonely. So how the child has developed the fear, because one of their neighbor had taken to the hospital, and their family was crying, and the relatives were crying, and she witnessed this scenario, and because of that the girl got frightened, and she developed a thought, what if my father is taken to the hospital, then how I am going to see him? So she talked about that father over the incidents, and he wanted him to be home. Though the father came, but still she developed a fever overnight, and in the morning there was one episode of menuresis, and which continued for 2 more days. Reports were done, all the investigations were normal. It was a diagnosis made as a secondary and nocturnal aneurysm with this thing. So whenever again the child comes up with the emotional issues, so what will be the common presentation? So there could be either excessive sadness, crying, frequent anger burst, emotional irritability, unexplained, persistent fear, mood swings, and behavioral thing. So if the cause is emotion, then this could be the expressions of the children. So what we understood the problem, there is a high sensitivity at the mind, at the body level there is a pathology we are able to see, and at the same time we understood how the social factor in terms of corona pandemic has affected the child, and we conclude that this is a reaction of a child to this particular situation. So again the totality was made, OPM was given, and the child showed the improvement. This is a very important case where, madam, actually I will take 1 more minute. Please. I'll just run through this because this is a very important case. This is a girl who is a 7-year-old girl. The parent approached to us with the complaint of expressive communication disorder. The child was subject to the speech therapy, occupational therapy, but there was no response. And they came to us for understanding whether the homeopathy can offer anything. Parents were concerned that the child is unable to speak, her memory is poor, her behavior is quite noticeable because she remains quiet most of the time, she does not talk, and till the age of 7 she has not achieved the control on the stool and the bladder, and there was no socialization. If you see the child, how she has come up, the child has physically grown up very well, her height and her weight was appropriate to her age, but she was hiding behind her mother. And she was, if you see how she has dressed up, she has matched everything related to blue. Her dress was blue, her hairband was blue, her shoes were blue. At the same time, she was thumb thucking. A 7-year-old child who is still having the thumb cupping problem. So how, at the same time, she was not maintaining eye-to-eye contact, refusal for handshaking, communication was resisted, and whenever you insist her for the handshaking, she used to get irritable and clenched her teeth. That was a observation made by this. So how we will reach to the clinical diagnosis of this case? If you do not have a clinical psychologist around us, whether the homeopath themselves can reach to the clinical diagnosis or not. So this categorization into cognition, and behavior has helped us in coming to the diagnosis, along with the evolution with the respect to the age from the 3 years to the 7 years. So 4 years of behavior was tracked, and we diagnosed this case as an autism spectrum disorder with the neurodevelopmental disorder. So it was a development which probably has hampered the child and brought to this ASD as a disorder. So we have repertorized everything. Whatever the observations were made, we have repertorized. But if you see, most of the observation will not have any rubric in the repertory. Like for example, hiding behind the mother. Thumb sucking probably will get you, but there was no quality in that. So what we did, we have classified the symptom with the disease diagnostic symptom, which are the attributes, which are the desire and aversion, and we repertorize this. And this is the totality finally we have come up with. So right from in the initial 25 symptoms, so we have brought down the quality with the expression to the 11 symptoms which are characterizing the individual. So this is the we have taken up all the characteristic expression of the individual. We have not considered the dispositional data, and we have not considered the thermals also in this case, but prominent symptom which was there, irritability and contradiction, clenching teeth during anger, GIT complaint, thumb sucking, and no bowel bladder control along with this. Again we repeaterize and nitramur was coming up. But if the nitramur, the which radical of nitramur, if it is a calcarea, then calcarea is also equally angry. So how it will differentiate the calcarea, chamomilla and the nitramur? So what we identified in this case, ki her anger and the expressions are anger very prominent. Whenever you take any disorder or any study, any behavioral disorder, you have to give more importance to the characteristic expression. So in this case, the anger was very prominent and the trust or the relationship this girl was having with her mother. Every child is attached with the mother, but if you see the way in which she was hiding behind the mother, the way in which she was reacting to the mother, so everything was considered and we identified that this patient has an issue of a relationship versus trust as well. So we differentiated all the symptoms based on this and we gave her nitram car because even GIT symptom aggravated milk after. So this was the learning. The main topic of my presentation is what challenges if one has. So if it is a clinical dimension, unless and until you categorize into this specific, whether it is a clinical, functional, accordingly your case taking should come up with exploration is needed. The exploration of a family environment, child's environment also needs to be studied. It is also important how you are identifying the causes. The causes can be predisposition, precipitating, miasmatic and the maintaining causes as well. At the same time, you have to evaluate the characteristic at the level of disposition, mental state, sleep, physical generals and thermals. At the level of psychosocial stresses, whether the child is undergoing any stresses at the level of family, work, society and the environment, those also needs to be ruled out. And the most important learning what we got from this study of 3 cases, there are no problem children without being the problem parents, problem teachers and problematic social structure. So all the behavior come up because of these 3 main factors. So if we as a professional or a EPA are able to take care of this everything, then probably the professionalism which NCH is expecting and the EPA assessment will be done. The homeopathy definitely will survive for longer time. So this is just a conclusion.
Thank you.
With this. And thank you. I would like to thank this personality because she made me stand over here, and because of her, I can really speak in front of you very well.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita, for an excellent and very good talk. I request Dr. Preeti to please tell us about. Sorry to cut you off because shortage of time.